Hello guys, and welcome back to Getting Started with LabVIEW. And in today's video we will actually look into one of the comments that I actually received on one of my older videos of using Python Node in LabVIEW. Here one of the comments here mentioned that the user Linda9564 is trying to use LabVIEW to read temperature and pressure sensor, and she have created a Python script that plot those readings, and she wants to display those plot directly in LabVIEW. Apparently she's having trouble of getting the generated chart into LabVIEW, and she would like to know how to integrate the Python plot in LabVIEW. Now when it comes to using Python libraries in LabVIEW, it's slightly different compared to other libraries available like C# or whatever. The reason is because whenever you use programming language such as C# in LabVIEW, you are able to call using constructor node, or if you have a library that was built in C or C++, you can actually use the call library node in LabVIEW. Since Python doesn't really build an exe whenever you run the script, it goes in a much more slightly higher, different level of I guess the way how Python reads creates the file. We have to think of a workaround on how to actually use these libraries in LabVIEW. So in today's example, we will actually look into how to actually you get those Python generated files into LabVIEW. Now first things first is we need to get a simple Python code that is actually generating the Matplotlib chart, and in here I actually have the example code where I will be using the Matplotlib library, the NumPy, and also the OS here. So as you can see here, I will just going to be going through the Python file step by step. We actually have the output directory and file path and full path. Now the idea that I actually has is I want to generate an image out of the Matplotlib and then get that image and call it into LabVIEW. So that is one of the workaround that I can actually think of. So first I would actually need to create a chart. As you can see, I've already created the Python function here that creates a sine wave and cosine wave, and I will also save those plot in a specified path. So that is the reason why I actually have this path here, using the directory and also the name of the file that I will be give to save the chart image. And as you can see here, these are actually string data, and I would also need to get the value of the path where I actually save the file. So I put here the return function here, so it will actually return me a string value of the chart. So let's test this code first before we actually call it in LabVIEW. And I actually have a folder here just to test whether if it's the image is actually generating. So let's run this module here, and once I have run the module, I can see that an image is actually generated here. So we're going to use this image and call it in LabVIEW, assuming that's what the user wanted to do initially. So we will generate the image using the Matplotlib library, and then we're going to call this image into LabVIEW. So let's just delete this and close this here. So we actually have the Python module here, right? They have the Python module here, and let's close this. So let's start using the Python code. So first things, we need to go to connectivity palette, Python palette, and then we just need to use this tree function, which is the open session, Python node, and also the close section. So let's link the session first. My Python version is 3.10, 3.10, 32-bit. So make sure you know your Python version first whenever you're using the open Python session. Next is I also need to input the module path, So in this case here, I'll just create a string because I already know where's the location of my module path. I have a specified path here. All right, so let me just copy the path somewhere and put it here. So this is the path where my Python file is, right? And next is, since the function earlier was the create chart, so let's call this create underscore chart. And if you notice earlier that the Python code that I actually have, it actually has a return value there. It actually has a return value there. Let me just open up my Python file one more time. You can see it actually has a return value which is full path. So this is actually returning the data type which is in string that I have already declared earlier. So I need to make sure that I was able to get the string of the pass. So let's put in a string constant here so that it knows what kind of data type it is actually expecting, and it will actually return. Let's create an indicator here just for demonstration purpose. This is just an indicator. All right, this is just a string path here. All right, let's put a string path. Now since we are able to get the string path here in the return value here, what am I going to do is I'm going to use the graphics and sounds functions inside the graphics and sounds palette, and we will actually get access to the graphic formats and also the picture function here. Now first what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the read PNG file, and it actually requires the path to the PNG. So what I need to do is I need to get this path here and convert it into a path data type. So to do that, we actually can use this function called string to path. String to path. So it just converts the value from string into path, and it will actually return several values here, which is the path itself, the image data, and error out. So we're going to use this image data to create a picture here in LabVIEW. So let's go to graphics again, and we go into picture function and select this function called I think it should be draw to unflatten. Oh sorry, I think it should be draw flatten pixmag, because it only requires either an input of a picture control or a image data, and you see this function here actually returning image data. Now this is the read PNG file, and this is the draw flatten pixmags. So now we can just create an indicator. It actually returns here a picture control here. So let me pull up the folder here again. I think with this we can actually almost get the whole thing done. Oops, Python chart. All right, let's run this code. And you can see that the chart that was generated, it was already generated here. And you can see the picture are now loaded into the picture control here. So this is how we can actually use Python library to generate a chart, and we save that chart or the plot into an image, and then we use the path of the image to load it into native LabVIEW control function here. So this is one way we can actually do it.